Good evening, everyone. It is Wednesday night, November the 10th, 2021. Welcome to Keeping It Real Conversations with Sunshine. I am your host, Camila, aka Sunshine. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. It is the name of the show. We are live on my Facebook page, Sunshine Camila, Kamela. We are live on Spotify, Twitch, Mixcloud, GrooveRadioDetroit.com. Please, please like, share, and let me know what you think. Again, since it's been in existence, I believe in 6 degrees of separation. You're one person away, one advice away from where you need to be in your destiny. It has been proven over and over again since I've started this. I hope your day was wonderful. Our guest will be on shortly, and I am excited for this one. He has become one of the people I check on every now and then. Make sure he's good. He's in the music business. He has a lot going for himself. And you will see him more and more, not just on social media, but you will see shortly what's going on behind the scenes. Again, tomorrow we have another show starting at 8 o'clock tomorrow. And my guest will be Kisma Jordan Hunter tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. I wanted to say when beauty matches the voice or the voice matches the beauty, she has some good things going on for herself as well. And I'm looking forward to these conversations. As always, please like and share. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Do what you can to make sure that this continues to go forth. I'm glad for those who have been helping. If you want to be a sponsor to the show, if you want to do ads, please let me know. Again, I look forward to doing this every time I get a chance to do it. I love doing it to get people to come on, open up, tell their story, how they got to where they are. We celebrate all victories, small, big, however you want to do it. We all need to be encouraged by the testimonies of the people that come on the show. That's what it's all about, to connect and to get hope from or faith from the stories that we hear and what we see. We might individually know these people, some you never heard of, but however, we all need to be able to connect with one another so we all win. It's not just one sided. We all win. Of course, the Bible always talks about we are overcomers by the words of their testimony. So I'm all about that. I want everybody to literally win. Even if you don't come on my show, if you're on my page and we're friends, you're doing something, I support also by sharing. I support by telling somebody else about your endeavors. I have a lot of cousins, well, family members who have their own businesses. I have been loving for them to come on the show and tell about their business. So again, I'm grateful. I'm thankful for all those who are keeping it real with me while I'm at home on my couch and you are in your space, wherever that may be, whether it's in the car, whether it's at your home, it doesn't matter, as long as we're able to see each other and we'll have this conversation. Soon we will be also on November 21st, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check the date. Coco, no, November 20th, I'm sorry. Miss Coco Brown, the funny mama, will be on the show that Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. You don't want to miss that one either. For all those who see my show, if you know people in your own circle who you feel like need to be able to tell their story, please get in touch with me so they can actually come on. I just don't talk to celebrities. I talk to any and everybody that wants to tell their story. So please do that for me. Give me just a second. The guest will be on shortly. So again, thank you again for all those who are up this evening to watch the show. Nucci, Reyo will be on in a minute. He goes by Mahi, the King's Kid. So we're gonna hear his side of the story of why he's called what he's called. And again, this is another person that proven again the 6 degrees of separation of how I know him or how I got connected to him through my big bro main event from N1, as we call it now, Blacktop Streetball Association. He told me that this is another person that I need to talk to. So we'll be talking with him in just a moment. I hear something.
Yeah.
Hello.
Good. We good?
We are good. How are you?
What's going on? Everything's everything.
Good. I'm glad we awake this time.
No doubt. Long nights.
So we want to welcome you to the show, of course.
Thank you for having me.
I'm glad that we were able to connect. Again, I tell people how I know the person or the guest that I have on. This evening is again a proven fact, the 6 degrees of separation, and our connection is through Main Event.
Yeah.
Main Event told me about you, and he said this is another person that you need to contact or hook up with. So here we are, having our conversation. So we're gonna start off. When did you know you wanted to get into music?
Oh, wow. Good question. Well, it's really a loaded question because my father was a DJ in the 70s. His best friend is in the group Cameo. And so I just grew up around music, right? Like musical household, musical community. So my father says I was like moving to the music real early. You know what I mean? It was almost like a spectacle for the guys. Like, wow, this guy is like, really moving and grooving early, dancing to the message and just learning music and responding to music real early. So professionally, I remember the moment when I saw Slick Rick Teenage Love video. I was like 10 years old. And something just clicked in my mind. Like, I love the lifestyle in the video. He's getting out the limo. He got the fur coat on. And I love the idea of that lifestyle, which was much different, than the lifestyle I was, in at the time. Only 10 years old, but, I was in the hood. So, but I just remember something clicked like, hey, I can do that. Like, I just felt like, you know what? Let me try to write a rap. And I remember just starting to write around that age and started to do shows like soon after. You know, when I was, I'm not from the projects, but I would be in the projects visiting my cousins, and they would be having me rap like in ciphers and stuff and battles. I was like 10, 11 years old. So I was like, you know, I like this road. And so ever since then, I was like, this is what I'm going to do.
So with the rap, were you it has on some occasions we have that rap have a negative light to it sometimes.
Yeah.
So as a younger person, the rap that you were listening to or you were influenced by, was it the message, or was it the beats? Was it shoot 'em up type of music, or what was it?
Well, no, because if you remember in the 80s, you had a balance, right? You didn't even have that much negative rap in the 80s.
Okay.
Everybody had a message and was telling their story, but it was real gratuitous violence. Nobody was trying to be too ignorant. You know, a lot of it was dance and party because you had like, you know, that type of era going on. And so, no, it wasn't anything negative. I was like a big fan of like Heavy D and the Boys, and that was mostly dance music and about the ladies. Slick Rick, dance music about the ladies. LL Cool J was all about the ladies and battling. So it was the positive stuff. It was at a time where, you know, you could literally put out a record like Self-Destruction and, you know what I mean, things of that nature. So I didn't have any negativity in my mind as far as getting into it was concerned. You know, gangster rap era and things of that nature came way later.
So where are you from again?
I'm from Jersey.
Okay, you're from Jersey. Okay. So also I put on the thing that you go by as they say, the big fish, Mahi Mahi.
Yeah, that's what
Where you get that from?
the guys just started calling me that, you know what I mean, just because of just my image and coming through the studio and just, you know, having on designer clothes and a lot of jewelry. You know, I come through the door and they like, you know, here come the big fish is here. That's a term in Jersey for like Italian mobsters and Italian businessmen who have the most money. And so they call them big fish, and then people that's under them, they would call them little fish. You know what I mean? And so you know, they started calling me that, and it kind of just stuck.
So can you tell the people some of your repertoire when it comes to music? Like I seen some things that you were posting on your page of some of the things that you were featured on,
Yeah,
and some of the thing or some of the people that you actually wrote for. Can you tell some of the people?
yeah. Well, I was signed to MC Records under Don Pooh, which is one of the people who you know, was part of the Howard crew with Puff Daddy and Mark Pitts and all those guys. So when he left Bad Boy and went to MCA Records to start his own label with them, he signed me. He used to manage, still manages, if I'm not mistaken, Mary J. Blige. He found Shine, Foxy Brown, a slew of others. And he also discovered me, signed me to MCA Records. And it was when I was with MCA Records is when I started writing for Puff. And we formed a good relationship. And, you know, that was a productive thing as well, a lucrative thing as well. So, you know, I was on a Lord's album. We were label mates at the time. So, you know, did some writing for quite a few people under that umbrella, a lot of ghost writing. But, you know, it was a fun time.
Absolutely. Just being around or in the room with them type of people sounds
Yeah,
like a fun time.
yeah.
Also, would you say that leading up to our God conversation, that music was a way to that saved you from the streets?
Yeah, well, yeah, because it gave me another path. In my opinion, when I look at my story, I never loved the streets. It wasn't something that I would consider myself having been caught up in because the music was there as an outlet. And the only reason I say that because out of my childhood crew, I ended up being the only one who didn't do any jail time, who, you know, doesn't have stories of being shot and being stabbed or, you know what I mean, things of that nature. And so because I was always just engulfed in the music. You know what I mean? When my friends would be outside selling drugs, I would be in the basement working on my craft, making beats and, writing and things of that nature. So I feel like that activity just kept me out of trouble and just kept me on a path of like purpose and passion.
Okay. So now we're leading into our God thing, our God purpose, our God driven while we're here. So with music, you recently just put out a new single, correct?
Yes.
And can you tell the people about your new music?
Yeah. So the single Gaucho is pretty much a gaucho is like a real legendary figure in Argentina. It's really like a cowboy. They will control the land and things of that nature and just be like a stylish, brave character, right? So the single is talking about just riding like a gaucho, where it's like you're just legendary and just stylish and kind of just a certain kind of character. And it's just talking about just being blessed. You know what I mean? My story is really a story of restoration is what I'm telling on this album that I'm dropping, the Big Fish album. And I might change the title to New Wine. I'm kind of going back and forth. But whatever the case is, with my story, having such success in secular music and being on Hot 97, being on BET, MTV, Video Music Box, Double XL magazine, Source magazine, all that kind of stuff. When I walked away from it, when God called me to remove myself, right, so that he could prosper my soul before he prospered me, is what I'm seeing at the end of the day. It was a big sacrifice for me. You know what I mean? Writing for big wigs and signing big record deals and pretty much being really next up when it came to secular music. There's a formula, there's a path, right? You get hot on the mixtapes, then you get hot on the street, then you get to a label and you're working on hit records and people know you next up, you one hit away. And so following that formula, people knew I was next up. And when God called me out of that, it was going to mean everything was going to change, especially financially, right? So now I'm in a position where those finances are being restored. You know what I mean? So it's really a story of restoration. And that's what the Gaucho song is about. It's just about the fact that, you know what I'm saying, he'll prosper you as your soul prospers. And that's pretty much what the story is.
So a lot of times we have heard so many stories, especially like I love the unsung stories
Mm-hmm.
from 2v1 to see how you have the talent, you get out there, you start doing the concerts, your money start coming in, and then all of a sudden there's either, if you're a group, somebody's trying to break up the group.
Mm-hmm.
It's some women, or for the women, it was the guys, or here comes the alcohol and drugs.
Yeah,
So how, my question to you is, how did you survive that part?
that's a good question. Can you hand me one of those waters, please? Um, well, it's just, my father is such a bold person. Um, and just being transparent, he dealt with addiction at one point in his life. So I knew I didn't want to go that route. He plainly told me, he didn't sit me down and give me some long dissertation. He just told me, you get in this game, it's going to be a lot of drugs floating around. My father is a man of not many words, but his words are so direct. And so when he does speak, you listen because he's not talkative. So he just told me, listen, don't do no cocaine. And that was the end of the conversation.
Okay.
And so I stayed away from hard drugs. I did have a time where I drank a lot. I drank too much because we would start drinking for celebrations, but we had so much to celebrate, right? So my mother told me, look, all this drinking champagne for these celebrations could lead down the wrong path. She was right, because next, we drinking every day. We drinking every night. So I cut all that out. Stop drinking, stop smoking weed. Never smoked cigarettes. I might have a cigar, but for the most part, I stayed away from that all. I've been in those parties. I've been in those atmospheres where it's bowls of ecstasy on the table, where this might be crazy, but the label, when I first signed and I was smoking weed, I mean, they'll give you whatever you need to function. I would get to the studio and they would give me pounds of weed. I would leave pounds of weed at the studio. You know what I mean? Like, you can't smoke it all, right? All my friends come and we smoking, there's still a bunch left. We're not riding home with this. They'll give you whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? For you to perform. And so I didn't indulge in it too much. And then so it was easy for me to just leave it alone, but I stayed away from the hard drugs the whole time. Now, women are almost like a drug in and of themselves.
Right. Right.
So that was the hardest thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is leaving that lifestyle. You know what I mean? Because we're gonna be transparent. We're not gonna act like having notoriety and having your choice of women and models. And I came up in an era where the video vixen had just become a thing.
Okay.
Right? 2000. It was right before that, and right in that time where Hype Williams kind of took the video vixen thing to the next level. Right. And so, no, that was tough to step out of that lifestyle from that standpoint. You know what I mean? Because when you're popping and you're running around with these huge figures, I mean, it's different women every night. You know what I mean? So to step out of that wasn't easy. You know what I mean?
Let me ask this. In your survival mode.
Yeah.
Because I don't research you guys. So do you have kids or how many do you have?
Yeah, I don't really talk about my family because I like to keep the business totally separate. First of all, because the internet is cruel. You know what I'm saying? So even as far as my siblings and just as far as my parents and my family is concerned, I don't really put it out there because, it doesn't have much to do with the music and I don't really want to make them targets.
Mm-hmm.
So I just leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, people are vicious. Even some of the stuff they say about me, like a lot of people say if I wasn't a rapper, I'd be a comedian. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm a jokester and I could take it. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't want, you know what I'm saying, people in my family to have to deal with that because they might not be able to take the comments. You know what I'm saying? So I leave them completely out of it. But you know what I mean? That's how I do things.
Absolutely. I know sometimes even watching some of the stories of some of the celebrities that are in the music industry, those are one of the I guess weakness that they get addicted to. And even in it doesn't even matter if it's circular. I've heard that it's in the gospel world as well, with basically whatever you want. You can at any time go backstage and it's there, or not even backstage.
Yeah, it's worse. That was a rude awakening for me, is that when I started doing music that I knew would fly in the gospel circuit and started doing the gospel circuit, doing churches, community centers, those women were much more forward than women in the world. Like, I've been on tour with Nas, like opening up for the Stillmatic tour, open up for Busta Rhymes, open up for the Carter One tour for Lil Wayne. And you go into those venues and the women are somewhat forward and somewhat aggressive, but the women you encounter in the church circuit, because see, in there, it's a spiritual war going on. It's a different thing. And then music business wise, it is no difference. It's no difference at the end of the day. Every gospel label that's a major label is a major label as a parent, right? So it's no different. It's all the music industry. It's just as dark. It's all about you as an individual, how you're going to conduct yourself, because it's just as dark, if not darker.
Wow. So basically, in your time around of God snatching you from that part and bringing you back up or to your restoration, What is something that you're doing different from before?
Everything, really the message, right? Everything now is through the eyes of a person who has a relationship with God. So if I speak on women, if I speak on money, if I speak on the streets, it's all through the lens of an individual who has a true relationship with Jesus. That's bottom line. I might speak on all the same topics, but I see it a different way. It's a different perspective. And it's all about where you sitting at in the room. You know what I mean? Somebody could bust into a room shooting, and everybody who's in that room is going to tell the story a different way. Some people are fascinated by those kind of lifestyles. Others think it's tragic. Some people think it's cool. You know what I mean? So it's all about perspective. And so my perspective has changed because of having a relationship with God.
Wow, and that's good. And I'm glad to see that. Of course, I didn't know you before, but it's something different to see men talk openly about their relationship with God. It needs to be more of it, outside of just being in the pulpit, of course, because we all need the role model of the total man, um, from being a husband, being a brother, a father, a son. It doesn't matter, long as it's a positive look.
Yeah.
And especially when they start talking about having a relationship with God, it is a plus, plus, plus. So I commend you on that. Also, I found out that you were a part of Godify, correct?
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
tell people about that?
Yeah, I thought of Godify as soon as I came into this realm of music because there was no dedicated streaming services for any kind of Christian music. I had never heard of Christian rap before. And so I decided I wanted to create the outlet where people could get discovered and have just as much visibility as secular artists, right? Because the gospel alternative, the Christian alternative is always lesser than in every industry. Christian movies don't do what regular movies do. Christian music doesn't do what regular music does because we don't have the outlets. And so I wanted to create that outlet. And so I thought of it back in like 2010. It's a vision. So it took a while. We didn't launch until 2020, but it's been a good ride so far. I met Mark Bullock and some other people that I brought in as partners, and we're just going forward with it. We want to take it to the max and be as big as like a Spotify, biggest Tidal, biggest Apple Music. You know what I mean? It's a generational wealth thing. It's vision and purpose and passion behind Godify.
That is good too. Again, with this 6 degrees of separation, of course, you mentioned Mark Bullock. So here it is. I have not met them in person yet,
Mm-hmm.
but again, we're all in the same circle with Blacktop.
Yeah.
And so it's another good thing to have the accountability of not only partners, but friends who have the same vision as you, not
Yeah.
just for the money purpose, but the bigger purpose of getting something positive out here, leaving legacy for your children, as well as changing the narrative.
Yeah.
So what else? When do you plan on dropping the actual full album?
I'm thinking about dropping either, if I don't make the Black Friday date, then it'll probably be Christmas Eve. They'll tell you I'm like a perfectionist in the studio, so I really have most of the songs recorded, but I might just do a couple more because I'm telling a story, and I want to really drive the story home and tie it down. So I might do a couple more records this week and then wrap it up and decide on a release date from there. But we got another single called Wise dropping pretty soon as well.
I was waiting for my invitation to be a feature on your album.
Oh, what do? You sing or rap?
Yes, I sing.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, maybe we may hit Mark up and maybe we'll make something happen.
I sing, I do spoken word, I act, whatever you need me to do, I'm here.
Oh, just creative all around. Okay. I can
Hey.
yep. So it makes something happen.
Let's see, what else? So in your time of being around the music world, is there anybody that you would, dead or alive, would have loved to do music with?
Um, hmm. I would like to work with it's a few producers. I would like to work with Primo
Hmm.
as far as production is concerned. Um, as far as vocals are concerned, I'm trying to get something done with Mary J. Blige. Think that would be great. And that's pretty much it that comes to mind. Yeah, I want to work with those two. You know, maybe even on the same record. I think that would be pretty cool. But also because it's part of that just original story, I would love. I'm trying to work out something with Slick Rick right now too. Think that'd be hot. It's just something real classic. Like I want to do music that ages well. You know what I mean? Like it's classic. So that's my focus.
Absolutely. I know at one point I was thinking about eventually one day I will do an album where half is vocal and half is spoken word.
That'd be hot.
Um, so eventually, when my mind is calmed down, I'll be having so many things at one time to eventually finish that project. And one thing that I've learned about music, especially when you are raised in a house where it's all genres of music, it's not just one thing that you guys listen to. I'm more pulled to R&B and gospel
Yeah,
because that's what speaks to my heart. I can't knock rap, but the only reason why I didn't really care for rap, but most of the time I didn't understand and I didn't relate
yeah. Mm-hmm.
to the music because that's not, it doesn't move me. I'm not out here selling drugs. I'm the person that'd be like, well, how do you know that a house is really a drug house? Like
Yeah,
I'm that person that asks the question, how do you know that this person is selling drugs when they don't look like it? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm the ignorant one.
totally understandable. Yeah, I mean, just got to do what moves you. You know.
Absolutely. So do out of I guess some of the music or artists that has passed, I would say what in the last 20 years, who do you feel like if they had a different conversation or a different atmosphere that they will still be here?
Um, I'm really not impressed to tell you the truth. There's a couple people within these, last so-called year. I just, if I listen to anything is from the 90s, from the 80s, the rest of these people, I just feel like, after that era, originality just stopped. And I just feel like people are just not really impressive. I feel like they're underwhelming. And so that's why I feel like the game is wide open right now. And this album I'm about to drop is just going to change it and just bring it back to the essence, but in an updated way. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah,
Where
like we're still progressing. Like one of the things that I would say 80s, 90s music had more message.
yeah,
Um and then it changed with the times from we were not so much techno, but like Teddy Riley,
yeah, that's New
all
Jack.
the New Jack Swing. And then we had the love music, with everybody Keith Sweat and all of them. Um, those music was purposeful. Like
Yeah,
you knew for a fact if you played this, you probably was gonna fall in love, or this music was for that reason. And now it's just like, what? What are y'all talking about? Or
yeah,
we popping pills? What we doing?
yeah. I think it's a lot of it is just the difference between love and lust. And so
Mm-hmm.
know, R&B doesn't do as good as it used to do. But I'm hoping that some artists come out that kind of bring those genres back to the essence as well.
It's a need. We have so many people that are impressionable. It's not even just the young people. Music does that to you anyway, especially if
Yeah.
you're not really strong. Um, of course, we always said that R&B was the mood music,
Mm.
to get you in the whatever mood you're trying to be in. You know who to play, whatever the case may be. Um, and a lot of the times, what we're listening to now is, like you said, it's lustful. Um, Now, even to some degrees, shameful to say, like even some of our gospel music, you can't tell if it's gospel or it's an R&B song, or
Yeah.
you can't tell anymore. And so now it makes you go into a thought, are we just listening to music just for the rhythm of it versus the actual lyrics?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the phase we're in. It's just all about the production
Hmm.
and the hooks. But
Right.
when people start saying something again, it'll become about the lyrics again.
Wow. So hopefully, when your music comes out, that everybody will start really getting back to the lyrics. I think that's why a lot of people gravitated to, I'm not good at naming people, but like Chance the Rapper,
Yeah.
or what's the other one from, I think he's from California.
Kendrick
Uh,
Lamar.
yeah, there you go. People like that who have the conscious of your lyrics, because we know that words have power.
Yeah.
And so when you get into that place of really um conscious of your platform, I'm gonna say that
Yeah.
people are really following you for all the right reasons and not following you because you the big name right now.
Yeah. Of course, it'll get back to content and to kind of having a purpose for your music rather than just doing it to either get rich or to say whatever is going to appeal to the negative nature of people, of human beings. So I see it turning around. Lyricism is coming back, and that's right up my alley. So I'm just ready to take it to the next level.
So where do people now, are we still back at to really getting all the hits from social media, or are we still going back to how things were done back in the day of tapes and CDs, and how are they doing it these days?
Well, it's a digital era, so yeah, social media is a wonderful way to connect directly with the fan with no middleman. So that's really the focus, is to take over those platforms and create that balance, so that negativity is not the only thing available, reigning and ruling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So since the pandemic, or has the pandemic affected you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was cool for me though, because I just was able to shut in and come up with a lot of material. And that's what I'm in the mode of now. You know what I mean? So I didn't mind it. I'm a loner anyway. You know what I mean? So it was cool for me to just lock in and just reflect and just, focus on the things that really matter.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Back, you know?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said, like, without the distractions.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
definitely a reset. Also, it would I would hope that people took a time to reflect on themselves, or to improve themselves, and even in the things that they were doing, a different way to have streams of income
Yeah.
versus being outside,
Yeah.
um, learning about yourself. Sometimes we don't know what we're capable of until we're pushed,
Yeah.
um, which are back against the wall, or when trouble comes, you never know. until you get there, how you got really going to react. Um, you're talking to a COVID survivor. Um, I never thought that I was going to die.
Yeah.
My body felt like it maybe, but I never thought that I was going to die. But I did have to really refocus on me.
Yeah.
Um, when you're constantly going, and never having time for not only yourself or your family, it was a reset button. It was very a reset button. And to understand that it's not time to be selfish.
Yeah. The whole world pretty much had to deal with it at the same time. And, I think, people have changed forever. A lot of people change for the better. So, you can always find a light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely. For some, a lot of people lost. Um, and some are constantly still losing, because this is a constant battle now. It's a constant battle, especially with where I work. I work in a clinic, and the things that I see, um, unfortunately, some people still think it's a joke, and it's not. It
And
is.
I serious low and just recording. I'm not doing no outings, no gatherings this winter, just recording and promoting digitally.
Okay. So
Straight up.
do you plan on eventually, like once the album drops? I think I've seen a couple of artists doing like virtual concerts.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stream like the listening party. I'm gonna do like some streaming concerts. Yeah, I already got my band together, so we got some pretty cool stuff planned.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, we keeping our distance straight up.
Okay. That was one of a couple of the artists' concerns was, are we really ready for that of
Yeah.
gathering? Nine times out of 10, well, I would say 7 out of 10, some people are actually doing what they're supposed to do to social distance or use their mask. But then you have others who like, it is what it is. So, we're all about safety.
Yeah.
We have to so speaking of safety issues, as an artist and you're doing like gatherings or a concert, if something happens at that venue, is that your fault?
No. That's security's fault. That's the venue's fault. You're the talent. You don't control the venue. Unless you incite the riot and say, hey, everybody start wilding. Nah, that's not your fault. You know what I mean? Security has to handle that. Everybody has their job. Your job is to perform. Security's job is to keep everything cool. That's just how I see it.
Mhm. So, being in the industry for a long time now, what do you feel was a turning point where um, we became so censored? With what do I mean by that? Maybe gay artists, um, doing, males dressed up as females.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you feel like this was the turning point, or to say that this was okay?
Well, it's just the internet because there's no gate, no gate to entry now. Not just anybody could blow up or get a platform back in the day, but now with the internet, everybody could get a platform. All they got to do is create a page. You know what I mean? So now that just anybody could get through that gate, you're gonna see all kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that all kind of stuff has an audience. Unfortunately, some stuff I might not be into, millions of people are into it. Sometimes I see an artist and I'm like, this person is trash, but they got 100 million streams. 100 million views on YouTube. So, there's a platform for everything, unfortunately. And my job is just to be a light in darkness. I'm shining my light regardless, of what goes on. I'm part of the kingdom and then there's the world. And I'm never shocked by the world being the world. You know what I'm saying? The issue is that the kingdom needs to remain being the kingdom.
Absolutely. Do you feel like you're a loner right now in doing kingdom music?
Well, the way that I do it, because I'm accepted, not because of watering down my message, but I'm accepted by the secular world because that's what I come from. And,
Mm-hmm.
and they know me. So that's different than a lot of other people who might have a similar message. A lot of people in the world of secular music, executives and whatever else don't even know these people exist. But for me, they tap into what I'm doing. So I have a different purpose, and I don't see anybody else with the same purpose, but that's what it's supposed to be, because it's like, if two of you the same, one of you is worthless. That's just, how I was taught. Everybody, should have their own lane. And so this is the lane I'm in, where, I have this message and I have to proclaim it in a dark place, but I'm not afraid of the dark. So I'm just going forward.
Absolutely. And that's good. And as I'm learning in my mature age that you need that small, intimate circle to, pull the coattail,
Yeah.
keep you in prayer, even have prayer groups or Bible study together. 'Cause sometimes you don't have time to actually go into the four walls.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, um, I'm not in the four walls. I get suffocated in the four walls. Ministry like this is what I'm about. Spreading where I'm at, marketplace, my job, wherever I go, shining the light. Having an ear to talk. You never know, that person that you're listening to could have had a thought of committing suicide. You stop what you're doing to listen. And sometimes, like, okay, God, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to pray for the person? Am I supposed to just sit there and listen? Or what? And at that moment, after seeking what you're there for, then you'll get your answer like, oh, okay, I was just supposed to sit here and listen to the person because maybe they felt like they don't have anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's time to take it to the street in the times we're in. You know what I mean? I miss being able to go to church. We stopped because of the COVID, but you know, you could minister wherever you go. And I think that's important, is to turn the church walls inside out. And so, that's the focus of these times. That's the blessing in these times, that, you can't just, nobody's called to a pew, a seat, in a church. So, now everybody gets to take it to the street. So that's another benefit from these terrible times in the pandemic. It kind of forces people to do it a different way, to be creative as far as how you reach people.
Absolutely. That's why music, again, we go back to that, is in very, very important for the simple fact that music speaks in all languages,
Yeah,
um, whether we like it or not. And so we have to be careful of what we're putting out in the atmosphere.
100%.
So, how long does it usually take you to do one song?
Well, you could ask the team. I'm pretty quick. So I do about, taking my time, like an hour. I do, like, when we go to the studio, we get a minimum of 4 hours. I do like 4 songs, 4 hours. So like a song every hour. If we do 8 hours, I'm doing like 8 or 12 songs in that time. So
Mhm.
quick, I learned to just, if the beat, um, if I think of my first bar, as soon as I hear the beat, I roll with it. If the thoughts don't start flowing, I don't even use the track. So my process is pretty smooth and easy.
Mhm.
It just comes from the heart. I'm not overthinking it or anything. So it's a smooth process for me. So yeah, like a half hour to an hour per song.
Is that because of how you been all along, or just because you've been in the music business for a long time?
I would attribute it to my time working with Puff, because there were other writers, and whoever was done with the hottest verse first is the one that's going to get their verse picked. And so time was money. And I would just, before that, I was in a group of like 5 people. And it's like, once again, time is money. You got to write and lay it down quick. You don't have no 100 takes. It's a competition factor. And, just coming up in that was like a boot camp. You know what I mean? So you just had to get it in. And so that's the climate I learned under. So now, even though it's just me by myself, I still move with that rapid pace, you know what I mean? And just get it done. And so usually when a team is around, you can ask Mark and them just watching the process. They're like, this is unbelievable. But, I've been in it for a long time, so I've perfected my craft.
Okay. So
Yeah.
even in doing this, eventually will you have your own mentees?
Eventually. Like I said, I'm a little bit of a loner, but I'm thinking about starting a crew pretty soon.
Okay.
Yeah, just to pass the knowledge on.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. I'm like, okay, now you've been around some of the greats, and sometimes, unfortunately, our elders don't always pass it on. And when
Yeah,
something happens to them, that is in the ground.
yeah, definitely.
So,
I'm pass it on.
okay. So I always ask this, what is something that some people wouldn't or would be shocked that you do not like or that you like?
Wow. Sometimes people are shocked to find out that I'm vegan, and so that I don't like red meat, dairy, stuff like that. And people might be shocked to find out that I like country music, but they tell the best stories. I really like how they put it together. I'm a storyteller as well. And, they tell the best stories to me. If you could tell such a riveting story in 3 minutes, I think that's wonderful and creative. So, I find myself tuning into country music quite often.
Now that is definitely shocking. I would have never thought that. But
Yeah.
I just heard somebody that was on the show recently was talking about how they loved country music. I
Yeah.
want to I want to say Travis Malloy said
Yeah.
that, if I'm not mistaken. They like country music.
Yeah. Actually, the Country Music Awards is on now. So hopefully if I could finish writing by then, I'm going to catch a little bit of it. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
I honestly have not really got into the country music since, it's going to be shameful to say this, but since, what is the girl name that got in trouble? Her and her dad,
Oh,
Miley Cyrus.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't really been into music like that. Of course, I always like Shania Twain and those type of people and that around that time. But since then, I don't even know who's.
Yeah, I don't be knowing their names. I just turn to the country station and just be rocking out.
Oh, so you just like, okay, just sitting there listening to it.
Yeah. I don't really follow them or anything, but
Mm-hmm.
when I turn to the station, it's always some good stories going on.
So what is your opinion on like The Voice or shows like that? Do you really believe in those?
I don't really tune into them, but I think anything that creates an opportunity for creatives is cool. Anything that creates an opportunity for artists, I think is a real cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even though I don't follow them, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that is creating an opportunity.
So outside of the album and Godify, what else do you got going on? I know this is a lot.
Really, that's just I'm enthralled with those. That's my focus. You know what I mean? My work is my fun. So, I give it my all, and that's pretty much all I do. If I'm not creating music, I'm working on Godify, and that's just the phase of my life that I'm in. You know what I mean? Those are my focuses. I like staying focused. Keep
Mm,
shot.
okay, cool. So just let the people know where they can follow you.
Oh,
Where to get your music?
yeah. So I'm on all streaming platforms. My website is ilovethekingskid.com. And on all social media, it's Nucci Reyo 1. Nucci Reyo and the actual number 1. So it's NUCCIREYO and the actual number 1 on, Snapchat, Instagram, everything of that nature. So, like my Nucci Reyo, the King's Kid page on Facebook, and let's connect.
Absolutely. I know it's 9:51. It's almost time to go. You have fun within an hour.
I know I'm like way over time, but it's all good.
So I'm glad that you were able to connect. Again, we will be connecting
Oh,
because of Blacktop.
yeah,
And so that will be soon, and I can't wait to get that up and running.
yeah,
Again, thank you. I told them earlier you're one person out of our group that I check on every now and then to see how you doing, how's the music doing. And sometimes you need that encouragement from someone else to make sure that you stay, as you say, stay focused.
yeah.
So again, thank you again for coming through this evening, and you enjoy the rest of your evening. I hope you get to catch your country music award show.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I'll connect with you soon.
All right, see ya.
Later.